there, welcome back. Today I'm covering the Jackass films. So I'll be covering Jackass 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5 and Forever. Which seems silly to even break them down that way because they're basically the same, but having the people doing it a bit older. I have not watched this TV show yet. I've got it, but I haven't watched it. I'm just like, I'm not watching any more of this for a video that will probably 5 minutes long because there's not much to say beyond these are funny videos. you know. And Jackass started basically on TV, but it came from a skating magazine before. They were just doing crazy stunts. And they found a way to get people interested because Big John was one of the producers of it. And he was already a big director at that point. So they made these videos from MTV basically of these sort of stunt performers who like to prod each other and do silly things. And so it's basically a bunch of guys hanging out and being really immature and silly together and doing some crazy, crazy stunts. So it starts off, I mean, it can go from some crude basic stuff to really outlandishly weird stuff. I mean, there's some stuff that people can hit each other on the balls and things, which is silly but basic male behaviour, to someone getting projected in a portable toilet where all the waste something flies around it all over them. Yeah, they've done that. That's how childish it is. I mean, but that's the thing is, it is just so childish and so enjoyably childish. I didn't get into Jackass till recently because it was like, I just looked at it and goes, I'm not into that kind of stuff. And then recently I've just, been amused by it. It's just like, you can watch it whenever you want, really, because it is just insanely dumb. And they do have a lot of stuff that makes you want to puke. They are doing some stuff that are insanely. You should not be eating watching these films. Is my advice. Do not eat watching them. It's not good. It's not good. They are trying to make you puke. They are trying to do that. So I'll just try and bring it in a bit. So after the show, was it 3 seasons, very basic, and they just did. They do a film, which they thought would not work. It was like, well, they've already seen this TV show. What's going to happen to this? Because at that point, Johnny Knoxville was already becoming famous. He's the lead in it, and he's becoming famous, so he was in movies. And Steve-O, who was one of the other ones, he was becoming famous for stunts as well. So some of them were becoming celebrities from it. But they still kept together and did the Jackass movie. It was successful, so then they did Jackass 2, and they had so much material there. They did Jackass 2.5, which had some material that they didn't use in the film, plus them commenting on how they made these films and how insane they are. That continued with Jackass 3 and our 3.5, which was the 3.5s, 2.5s tend to be about an hour 10 or 20 minutes long. They're not like full movies, but they're like supplements. You can basically, I bought the DVD pack where you end up getting all of it, like 1, 2, 3, 2.5, 3.5. And for a while they stopped and ended up doing Forever like this year. So I mean, there is a difference between that. Jackass came after the TV show. It's just them trying something, see if they could do a movie of it and not expect anything. And it was a big hit. Jackass 2, as everyone's more or less has said involved in it, was basically them, everybody at their worst. A lot of people were having addiction problems. A lot of people were functioning alcoholics. This is them their worst behaviour. This was them doing the meanest, nasty stunts. I mean, they're very, very admitted it. I mean, for some of them, it's a favourite of the films because it is them just absolutely insane. By the time Jackass 3 came about, most of them were much better places in their lives. A lot of them had stopped drinking. Their addiction issues were gone. They had gotten through the worst parts of their lives, and they were just enjoying themselves a lot more. So Jackass 3 was actually them being sober and them having a lot more fun, so it was a much more cheerful film. And you can see in the films, each one feels different. It's different times in people's lives. Like the first one does feel like they're just trying something. The second one does feel a lot more weighed down. Actually, I like the second one best because it is the most meanest, but it's also the first one I saw. But also, I just liked the atmosphere of the second one. It was some of the pranks were the ones that kind of weight hanging over them in this second one, and some of the pranks were just a bit like you've gone a bit far with this one. You know, the third one does feel a lot more airy and a lot more relaxed, and you do get a feeling people are enjoying themselves a lot more in the third one. And the fourth one, this new one, they brought new people in. One of the people had died after Jackass 3, and also one of the other ones had addiction problem, which means he couldn't be in Jackass forever because they couldn't insure him apparently, and there were just issues behind the scenes with addiction, so they weren't going to use him, which led to a little controversy and lawsuits. I don't know all the details, but that's what I've read is basically it was insurance and there was issues for addictions. So he's not in the new one, but you know, everyone else has, plus there's new people involved, and they're all game to be in Jackass. And what you find by watching the films, plus all the extras, is that they shoot so much to make the film because there's so much stuff, and then they just put in stuff they think works. And so not everything turns up in the film, and there's some stuff in this 2.5 and 3.5 you think, why did they not put that in the film? That's funnier than some of the stuff in the film, and it's just taste. Like they obviously didn't think it was as funny as some of the stuff to put in. And there's lots of stuff with bulls. Like Johnny Knoxville seems obsessed with dealing with bulls. And it really came back to haunt him in the Forever, where he ended up getting some serious damage done to himself for the bulls. But he seems obsessed by dealing with bulls and putting other people in with bulls. I don't know what that's about. There's an obsession with trying to light farts underwater for a while, and they end up managed to figure out how to do it. So always good to have an ambition. There's just lots of weird stuff. I mean, that's the thing of the films is there's just an enjoying invention and silliness. They just seem to be enjoying being as silly as possible. Like, whether it's torturing each other, while they're shooting, whether it's finding ways to fool each other. Well, because sometimes they're doing apparently one stunt, but actually they're doing a different stunt that most of the people involved do not know they're doing, because that's the real purpose. So there's lots of that going on as well, so no one's quite sure why they're doing something. For sometimes it looks like, oh, that's a lame stunt, why are we doing this? And then it turns out that's just that's what they're telling the people, but they're actually calling them. So there's lots of that. It's also just the basic friends annoying each other and teasing each other and fooling each other. And there's that sense of pals having fun together and doing silly stuff, some of which is going to hurt really badly. And a lot of the humour is just they're watching going, oh, that looks like it really hurts. That's like, you wouldn't want that on you, and these people are insane. That's the thing, these people are insane. And obviously, they get something from this. Obviously, these are people who like to live extreme. They also like to be silly. Like having, there's one of their members is called Wee Man. He's very small. And they like putting him in the most extremely childish things possible for stunts. And he's game for all of it. There's also a sequence where they end up having a bunch of small people in a bar and having a massive fight. And why do they have that? Because it's silly. And it amuses them, and that's it. They have him running through town painted in blue at some point. There's also, there's other characters who, in Danger Ethan, who just gets abused every film. He just gets some of the worst stunts given to him. And he always seems to be game for more. And it's just really strange. I mean, Steve-O stuff, every time you see him, he's about to do something, it's like, oh god, this is going to be horrific. This is going to be beyond the pale. Why is he doing this? Especially the early films. There's like, every time you see him ready for a stunt, do not eat anything. Because it's going to be bad. There's some stuff with Johnny Knoxville and Spike Jonze dressed up as old people and embarrassing people in real life, which they do. Which is my least favourite stuff, because it's just like, it feels a bit more forced than the rest of the things. I just feel it tends to be like, these are the least funny bits of it, because it's like, yeah, you're just going to make people awkward. It's not really that great. But the stuff where they're just trying things and see if it works or not tends to be funniest, because sometimes they set up a situation and it's like, okay, what's going to happen if we try this? And especially if it goes wrong, some of the stuff when it goes wrong could be funnier than what they planned. So it's just a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think there's much more I can see in this video beyond this. It's like, if you have a childish sense of humour, go watch Jackass. It's just so enjoyable. And it was just a genuine pleasure watching the films and watching the silliness of it all. That, you know, it's just something to see. But it is something you have to go in ready just to watch silliness. Because that's it. It's just silly. It's enjoyable silly. It's an enjoyable chance to actually indulge in the childish part of your brain. And seeing grown men do things they shouldn't really be doing, and doing it to each other in horrible ways, like smashing on the nuts in the most horrible way possible, and doing all sorts of things to their bodies that look very painful. So, go enjoy if you like that kind of thing. That's me for now. I'll see you later.